We should be live now, fellas. Ladies, what's going on? Hopefully your Monday is off to an amazing start. If you could do me a monster favor, slide that beautiful finger of yours over to the thumbs up button and push that like button. Helps us a ton, and we sincerely appreciate it. If you happen to be coming across the station for the first time, I'm Ryan. This is Matt. We are the DFS 5-Pack. We talk a lot of daily fantasy sports, baseball, basketball, and football. We are both super jazzed to get the NBA playoffs started here in a couple of days. Can't come soon enough. But in the meantime, let's rock some baseball.
Yeah, let's get it, man. Final week of NBA. I know the regular season ends Saturday or Sunday, I'm pretty sure. So one more week of that, then we got the playoffs. And NBA, we just keep jamming. I mean, MLB jamming. Excuse me.
Right. Some of these NBA games at the end of the regular season right now are borderline unwatchable. You watch a terrible Timberwolves team. What did they beat the Magic by last night? I think it was 498 points.
They were up 30 at half, like an easy 30 at half.
Like losing to the Timberwolves by 30. And I know the Timberwolves are playing better right now. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, when the Timberwolves are a whole nother level of better than you, it's a problem.
Yeah. And some of these just like, they just stop trying. I mean, the Thunder, what did they start tanking like 3 months ago?
Yeah, right. It seems like at the beginning of the season, they started tanking.
Oh, my Lord. Anyways, guys, enough of that rant. I could go on and on. You guys have heard it all before. We are also here today to talk about our good friends over at Drafters. For my money, still the best kept secret within the world of DFS is going to be the website. It's just called Drafters. They got GPP type of formats. They got these Rankem formats. We should do a video of those one day. I never play those as often as I should, and we haven't talked about them on here as often as I should, but they are fun. But we like the daily snake drafts. We run some with our customers pretty much every single day, and I would love to have you guys come join us. Come play with us and have a good time. They got late swap and auto swap for like the wild world of NBA. Those things happen in baseball too. They bring in the next player for you. It is a blast and also an easy way to win money, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a serious blast. We love it. I remember we made a rankings video. Man, it must have been a couple of years ago at this point. So it's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute, guys. So we oftentimes will run these ones back with our customers, then announce the winner the next day. We didn't play yesterday. I think I got the last dub. Just a humble break real quick on Friday. Somebody come take my money from me, though. Promo code DFS 5-Pack. Use it, don't use it. There's a link to a Facebook group below. You can join and come draft with us.
Let's get it.
All right, guys, weekly and monthly memberships available through the website link below. You get both sports right now, which make them really good deals. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. And let's keep it real, guys. The pitching options today are weak. We are honed in on Kyle Gibson, which will tell you how weak the pitching options are. But let's give this young man some credit. And I say young because he's younger than me, because they all are at this point. But other than the really, really bad opening inning, I think it was Kansas City, he's pitched like a borderline Cy Young candidate for the rest of the season. So on a weak slate like this, where you don't love your spots, I'm just going to ride the guy who's been pitching well, other than one bad inning all year long.
Yeah, and that bad inning, came all the way at the beginning of the year. It's pitched really, really well since then. I mean, he's been one of the better pitchers in baseball, consistency-wise, since that first start. Finds himself in a good spot in a fine matchup against San Francisco in a nice hitter's park in the Bay Area. Again, we talked about it a bunch on the members only video. There aren't a lot of good pitching options today. So kind of got to, pick the best of the bunch. And for our money, it's Gibson.
So credit to Gibson too, because it's only the middle of April right now. And he has an ERA of 2.4 and a whip of 1.04, which you can see on the screen right now. That's really, really good when your first inning of the year is giving up 6 runs.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
I mean, that takes a lot. So we will keep moving on down the list from here. Let's talk about today's cover boy, Josie Altuve, guys. I haven't brought him up on the show in a really, 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 really long time. But right now, the Astros are rolling. 7 runs in 3 of their 4 last games. Altuve now with 4 straight multi-hit games. Streaky hitter like this, putting together a ton of quality at-bats currently, a couple of home runs in that stretch as well. He may not run like he once did, but he is still capable of a stolen base. Got a little more pop than he did, too, when he started the early portion of his career, and he's back to looking like Altuve right now. Not to mention, and this might be one of our favorite secrets of the day, the young guy pitching for the Angels tonight, he doesn't have a plethora of major league experience, but he's tossed close to 90 innings at this level. He has an ERA around 8, which is, I don't know if you guys know this or not good.
Yeah, not good at all. Altuve started to round into form a little bit, look like the Altuve we've known and loved for years upon years at this point. Did you catch that picture / meme of Altuve yesterday on Mother's Day where he looks 3 feet tall?
I thought he was 3 feet tall. No, I didn't see it.
Funny point. It's a hilarious picture. It was all over my Twitter this morning, so I couldn't help but see it. And yet, despite his diminutive size, I mean, he's got power for days. A couple home runs recently, seeing the ball really well. A lot to like about him as, the top piece or one of the top pieces for an Astros stack we have some interest in.
All right, next up, let's go to a little bit more of a GPP play. And this is a guy who's been on our radar all year. Like I said, humble brag on the members only podcast as well. I was able to scoop him in all my year-long leagues this year, and he's been performing like a madman. That is Adolis Garcia at only 3,200. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, your favorite part about this is you telling me Alex Wood's chalky? That's a lot of leverage.
Ton of leverage, and that's one of my favorite parts. I think my favorite part is just how good he's playing right now, though, and that he's 3,200. I mean, power for days against left-handed pitching, in a nice groove right now. Had a couple games in that Seattle series where he homered and had 5 or more RBIs. Again, another guy that's seeing the ball well, feeling himself in the box. And yeah, Wood has been good this year, but he's far from like an elite number one. He's not a guy we're afraid to pick a bat or two against. And at this price point, I love Garcia's upside. I don't think he gets as much love as he normally would because of how popular Wood is going to be. And with the Rangers starting to look a little more
formidable.
A little more with it offensively, I guess. Like, I don't think it's crazy to use a couple bats against Wood here.
So again, Alex Wood will be popular today, and he's a fine major league pitcher, but he's not Jacob deGrom. He's not Garrett Cole. He's none of those guys. So it's not like he has any business being overwhelming chalk like he's currently projected to be. So on a slate like this, where you don't have a lot of games, very likely Coors Field is going to be postponed, and that's going to be off the slate as well. It's a Monday to boot. First game after travel, things work out weird. Doesn't mean this is going to work out. Alex Wood could go out there tonight and toss 8 innings and no-hit ball. But it's a nice idea to try to get a little contrarian on a slate like this.
Yeah, like you said, it's not like Wood's a good pitcher. It's not like it's inconceivable for him to pitch really well here. But with the amount of ownership he's getting because of the slate, I think in tournaments you can look at a couple of these Texas bats.
All right, next up, let's talk about Rafael Devers. And again, I want to reiterate, Coors Field is a likely postponed scenario today. They got rain. They got snow all day long. If that game is going to play, then you probably want to pivot over to some Padres and cash games. But as it stands out right now, another team that's going to be heavily utilized tonight is going to be the Boston Red Sox. You got Rafael Devers against a relatively weak right-handed pitcher today. He's affordable by his standards. Sometimes we see him up in the 5,600, 5,700 range. 5,200 is not cheap, but it's affordable for who he is as a player. He's playing relatively well right now, a bunch of solid DFS games lately. And while the number of plate appearances against Lopez is not overwhelming, he's faced him 5 times, homered twice and walked twice, which is definitely advantage Devers.
Yeah, he's a true stud also, right? Like he's, for my money, one of top 15, top 20 hitter in baseball. I mean, power, again, tons of power, crushes right-handed pitching against a guy. And Jorge Lopez that doesn't strike many guys out. So dream spot for Devers. For me, like, I do think that the Padres, if that game plays in the weather hole and the weather's fine, is probably a slightly better cash game play considering the ownership. But man, Boston looks good too, with Devers right at the top of the list.
Yeah, we commented on Lopez in the members only video. He's been a little better lately, but he hasn't been good. Like let's not confuse better from what his first 2 starts were to good. He's still only getting through about 3, 4, or 5 innings at tops, and he's giving up crooked numbers every single time as well. So Boston will get some love if Coors plays, and probably a lot of love if Coors does not play.
Exactly. And the other thing about Devers, I mean, I know he had a monster game yesterday, so he's coming in feeling good. He homered and an RBI double, so get another guy that's locked in right now.
All right. Moving back over to the GPP side of things, we're going to talk about Adam Duvall. A little bit more of a gut play, a little bit more of a long shot in a couple senses, but the flip side of that would be like Luke Weaver has been bad now, 4 straight starts. He had that one really nice start against Cincy. It has mostly been garbage again this year. We used to like this guy years ago, but he hasn't really been that guy for quite a while. And we feel like the Marlins are a team that gets ignored most days and will definitely get ignored here again today. And Duvall is a guy that it seems like lately 4 to 5 times a year just breaks the slate wide open.
Yeah, and it's not a spot, Miami, got to sell your soul and, stack them every which way. But Again, Weaver has not been good. He continues to get love because of his name. He might even get a little bit here because of the matchup and his name, recognition. And we like a couple Miami pieces against him. Again, I'll reiterate, not the spot where, we want to stack Miami over San Diego and Boston, et cetera, but they're in a decent spot and they're not going to get much love. We talked about Duvall, a couple weeks ago when he had that monster game. That's his MO. Like, he has a couple of those games a year. For my money, it seems like one of those games is coming sooner rather than later. It's a good spot. I could see Miami having a really good night here, and they're not going to get any love at all.
Yeah, you could definitely see Duvall coming in too with what, 3% ownership?
Yeah, I mean, somewhere around there. I was going to say somewhere around 5%. So, yeah.
So, I don't know. You're taking a shot right here on a guy who's got monster upside at low ownership. That's the kind of thing that can make you real money.
One other thing I love, and I forgot to mention this, I'm glad you kind of put it in here. If Weaver were the same pitcher but lefty, Duvall's ownership would be like triple. Like, it'd be like 15%. And he's better against right-handed pitching. So, like, I think that's just one of those little, things in MLB. It's one of those things. The more you know, the more you watch, the better you are.
Yeah, people just default to assuming all righties are better against lefties, and that's just not the case. Now, it's normally the case,
sure,
and that's why it's a proper default setting. But there are, I would say, I'd venture 10 to 20% of right-handed batters that are better against righties.
And there's some pitchers, like lefty pitchers, that are better against righties. I mean, it's rare, but you're right. It's a dangerous trap to just be like, oh, it's a righty, he's better against lefties.
Yeah, I've heard people go, oh, it's just for this year. I'm like, no, bro, like, you can look it up. It's for his career, which is 9 years long. It's not just this 1 year.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm with you.
Well, I still don't buy it. I'm like, stats are legitimately a numerical account of history. And if somebody's been doing something for 9 years, I'm pretty sure that's just how they are.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you for some NBA a little bit later.
Thanks, guys.